This is the personal light commercial unit of the ProFlex line. Notice it's lower to the ground, lighter gauge steel, but also notice the sturdy construction for light commercial and personal equipment. The first stretch is the hanging stretch. Now, hanging from a bar is the best upper body stretch that you can do. Decompresses the spine, stretches the wrist, elbows, shoulders, etc. The problem is your body weight is too much weight to hang and relax. Now, Linda, what I'm going to have you do is pull the pull pin and bring the boom up vertical. Now take one hand, push the T-grip up the boom as far as you can. Now grab and hold and relax with both hands. Now Linda's stretching wrists, elbows, shoulders, thoracic cage, decompressing her spine, lats, back. But the beauty is half of her body weight is still resting on the machine, so it allows her to relax. If you research spinal decompression, you want about a 60-40, 50-50 weight distribution. So this is perfect. She's going to hold this stretch for about 30 seconds. Stretch number 2 is the double leg center stretch. Linda, with one hand, bring the T-grip down the boom a little bit. Now, pull the pull pin and take the boom down to the 4th pinhole. Perfect. Now with both hands, crank the machine open as far as you can and then stop. It's important when you're teaching the ProFlex to have the user crank the machine open as far as they can, but still be able to comfortably talk to you. So you want them to get a good stretch, but you don't want them to go too far. Now with one hand, push the T-grip up the boom, grab and hold and relax. Deep breathing is critical when you're stretching for relaxation. Now, this position is the perfect position to show the 3 distinct factors of the ProFlex. Number 1, the ability to measure progress. If you look on the boom, you'll see a scale. That allows you to measure progress. Down near the ground, there's also a scale that allows you to measure progress. So we now have a way to be objective, to set and achieve numerical goals. Number 2 is relaxation. Linda is holding herself in place and the machine is holding her legs apart. Now this is just as if I were gently holding her in place or pulling her in place, known as an assisted or partner stretch. And again, it's for relaxation. And finally is technique. By Linda pushing the T-grip up the boom, her shoulders will follow that plane. Now the benefit of that is flexion from the hips. When you take your shoulders up and away, that makes your spine angle perfect when you're stretching. Stretch number 3 is the double leg right stretch. Now Linda, bring the T-grip down just a little bit. Okay, pull the pull pin and make sure the boom hits the right leg deck. Now we'll gently back off from there and find the closest pinhole. Perfect. Now with one hand, push it up the T-grip. Now grab and hold with both hands over here, making sure that this inside hand is in a tight fist. The benefit of that is that engages the lats and rear delts. Now the beauty of this stretch is, after about 30 days, Linda is going to be out in here because the average user improves by 50% within the first 30 days. So what that'll mean is her right shoulder will be around where her left shoulder is because the boom would be out here against the leg deck. Now how does that help in sports? Well, let's take golf for example. The ability to turn your shoulders against your hips is what gives you torque, speed, and power. Same for punching, same for baseball, same for throwing, same for hockey, etc. Anything that requires torque. Now Linda will hold this position for about 30 seconds and then she will be done in this stretch. Stretch number 4 is the double leg left stretch. Now Linda, you're going to drop the T-grip down just a little bit, okay? Now swing the boom all the way over until it touches the left leg deck. Then we'll let go and bring it back inside and it'll find the closest hole. Perfect. With one hand, push the T-grip up the boom, grab and hold with both hands, again making sure you get a tight fist with this inside hand here, again gauging the lats, the delts. Now, in this position again, remember, 30 days from now, her leg will improve about 50%, her leg spread. So that leg deck would be more to the outside, the boom more over to her left, but this hip still remains right here in place. The beauty again is creating incredible torque, reach, and lateral range of motion. Linda will hold this stretch for 30 seconds. Stretch number 5 is the single leg left stretch. Linda, bring the T-grip down just a little bit and swing the boom to the center position. Now you're going to crank the leg decks so they touch as far as you can. The beauty of this stretching the hamstring on the ProFlex is it's the only machine that will allow you to isolate it and measure it. Okay, Linda, drop your right leg to the ground, pull your toes back to you. With one hand, push the T-grip up the boom, grab and hold with both hands on the left side of the T-grip. That's perfect. Now, by her shoulders traveling on this plane, that allows for perfect hamstring isolation. Again, we can measure the progress along the boom, and she can completely relax because she's holding herself in place, just as if I were holding her here. After 30 seconds, she'll move to the next position. Stretch number 6 is the single leg right stretch. Very simple to set up. Linda, put your right leg up, your left leg down, push the T-grip up a little bit, grab and hold with both hands, relax and stretch. It's very important to make sure that the user is breathing deep, because the deeper that you breathe, the more that you can relax and the quicker you'll get flexible. It's also important to remember on these hamstring stretches that the toes are pulled back to you, which allows you to stretch the calf, the Achilles, all the way down the leg. After the single leg right stretch, we move into the maximum stretch. Linda, put your left leg back on the leg deck. Now what I'm going to have you do is crank the machine open as far as you can. This is the max test. You're going to make sure that they crank the machine as far as they can, and this is the number that we would chart. Very important, because this is the number that we want to beat each session. That's a fantastic pickup. You're at about 142 degrees. An advanced stretch that we do on the ProFlex is called the lower back stretch. Now this completely depends on the health of your lower back, but it is a great low back stretch. Okay, Linda, I'm going to have you drop the boom down to the lowest level. Now put both legs up on the machine. Now what's critical here is you have to have the user bend their knees, and you're going to dig your heels in. By bending the knee, that disengages the hamstring. Now this is the only stretch where we do want somebody to round their low back and drop their head. But again, any machine that is asking you to do that, but yet claiming that it's isolating other parts of your body, is not performing as promised. Okay, now Linda, push the T-grip up the boom a little bit, grab and hold with both hands. Now I want you to pull your head down. Again, now we're trying to isolate the back, and we have the users hold this position for about 30 seconds.